the breaking point. Gone were the scattered market stalls and idle gathering spaces. In their place stood rows of makeshift dummies, wood wrapped in scraps of old armor. Targets lined the far wall. A small crowd gathered. Watching. Waiting. Beyond the walls. Nothing moved. Too still. Too quiet. At the center of it all stood Trapper. "All right, listen up." Silence snapped into place. Not drills to look good. Drills to stay alive. The fighters moved. Awkward. Uneven. Trying. Trapper paced the line. Precision over power. Miss once, you don't get a second. Wood cracked under a clean strike. Too loud. They copied. Not well enough. Silas watched from the edge of the square, arms folded. They moved like people learning. Not like people surviving. Not soldiers. Not yet. And whatever was coming wouldn't wait. The drills continued. Too sharp for some. Too fast for most. One stumble. One late block. And everything fell apart. Silas stepped in, adjusting grips, correcting stances. Hands shook. Not from exhaustion. From fear. "Like this," he said. They tried again. Better. Still not enough. Nearby, a voice cut through the rhythm. "We should be focusing on food and trade." Not loud. Not quiet enough either. Silas turned. "We're not choosing this," he said evenly. "War's already on its way." No one argued. No one agreed. They just listened. Doubt stayed. Silas glanced toward the tree line. For a moment. He thought he saw something. Then. Nothing. From behind iron bars. Orianthe watched. Not impressed. A recruit stumbled under pressure. Too slow. Too open. "Shift your weight," she said. He hesitated. Then corrected. This time. He held. Silas noticed. That was the problem. The sun dipped below the horizon. Light faded. Training didn't stop. Slower now. Heavier. Every movement cost more. The doubt hadn't gone. Just buried. This time. It wasn't nothing. Shapes. Too many to be shadows. At the edge of sight. Gone when he focused. But there. Then. Movement. Too fast. Wrong. A scout stumbled into the square, breath ragged, barely holding together. Silas. Trapper. Silas turned. Instantly alert. Movement near the eastern perimeter. The square went still. Not quiet. Still. What kind of movement? The scout swallowed hard. Fraction X. The name landed heavy. They're setting up. A beat. Not leaving. A weight dropped over the square. How many? Dozens. Maybe more. Enough to break them. Silas didn't hesitate. Move into position. Now. Thomas was already moving. "I'll get them ready." Calla stepped forward. "We need eyes on them first. If we guess wrong," she continued, "we don't get a second chance." Silas held her gaze. "We won't get one anyway." No one spoke after that. Fear showed now. Plain. Unhidden. Resolve had to fight for space. Silas turned to the recruits. Weapons clutched too tight. Hands not steady enough. "This is what we trained for." A beat. "We don't know when they strike." Another. "Only that they will." And then. "We're not ready." No one argued. Elder Miriam stepped forward. "I'll warn the village." Silas nodded. Then, to the recruits. "Stay ready." A pause. "When it comes, you act." The air shifted. Training wasn't training anymore. It was a countdown. Outside the walls. The scouts disappeared into the tree line. And somewhere beyond it. Something had been watching all along. Chapter 5. First Impact. They were already there. Silas saw them before anyone spoke. Shapes. Moving through the dark. Too many. Too close. The scout hadn't warned them. He had confirmed it. Positions, now. The square broke apart. Too fast to track. No formation. No order. Just movement. People grabbing weapons. Not ready to use them. Not ready at all. Torches flared. Voices rose. Too loud. Too scattered. Silas moved through it. Fast. Forcing space. Forcing direction. Hold the line. Didn't matter where. Anywhere. Just. Hold. The gates shuddered. Not from impact. From weight. Something pressed against them. Testing. Waiting. Archers, ready. Too slow. Too late. The first impact came too fast. A crack. Too close. Then fire. Sound dropped out. Just for a second. The wall broke. Not all at once. Enough. The shock came a heartbeat late. Screams followed. Real now. No hesitation left. No doubt. Only reaction. Silas didn't think. Couldn't. Move. Strike. Breathe. Too slow. Too late. A body hit the ground beside him. Didn't see who. Didn't look. Couldn't. The line bent. Held. Bent again. Then. Almost. Fall back. Too many. Too close. They were inside the range now. Inside everything. The gate screamed. Another hit. Something gave. Not yet. But soon. From behind iron bars. Orianthe watched. Still. Unmoved. Predictable men die first. A beat. They die first. Silas didn't look at her. He already knew. Another impact. Closer. Louder. The ground shifted under his feet. Up wasn't where it should be. For a second. He wasn't sure where he was. Then it snapped back. Too late for some. The line broke. Not fully. Enough. Hold. It wasn't a command anymore. It was a plea. And then. Something held. Not everywhere. Not clean. But enough. The line steadied. For a moment. It worked. Strikes landed. Blades found gaps. Bodies moved together. Instead of against each other. Push them back. And this time. They did. The pressure eased. Just enough to breathe. Just enough to think. Silas saw it. The shift. They weren't winning. But they weren't breaking either. Not yet. Hope flickered. Small. Fragile. Dangerous. Keep pushing. The defenders moved as one now. Messy. But together. For a few seconds. It looked like it might hold. Then. It changed. The rhythm broke. Not theirs. The enemy's. They adapted. Faster than they should have. Strikes came from new angles. Timing shifted. Too precise. Too coordinated. They're adjusting. Too late. The line buckled. Not from force. From pressure. Constant. Unrelenting. Something slammed into the gate again. Harder this time. Wood splintered. A crack. Not loud. But final. They're bringing it down. Another hit. Closer. Louder. The hinges screamed. The frame twisted. Reinforce it. No one could reach it in time. Another impact. And part of the gate gave. Just enough. Just enough for hands to force through. Then blades. Then bodies. They were inside. Not many. Not yet. But enough. The line broke again. This time. Wider. Silas turned. Too many directions at once. Too many points of failure. Too many choices. None of them good. Fall back to the inner line. Some heard. Some didn't. Some couldn't. Fire spread along the wall. Smoke thickened. Vision narrowed. Breathing burned. The ground shifted again. Not from impact. From collapse. Part of the outer wall gave way. Stone cracked. Fell. Took people with it. Gone before they hit the ground. Silas saw it happen. Didn't stop. Couldn't. The village wasn't holding anymore. It was fragmenting. Breaking into pieces. Each one trying to survive on its own. Hold. The word meant nothing now. They weren't holding anything. They were surviving. Barely. Across the square. Garrett moved. Slow. Deliberate. Untouched by the chaos around him. People shifted away from him. Without knowing why. Space formed. For him. Silas saw it. Felt it. A pressure different from the rest. Focused. Intent. Dangerous. Before he could move. Garrett was there. Steel met steel. Hard. Too hard. Silas barely held it. The impact traveled up his arm. Into his shoulder. Nearly broke him. Garrett didn't press. Didn't rush. He didn't need to. You're already broken. Silas didn't answer. Couldn't. The next strike came faster. Then another. No pattern. No warning. Just pressure. Relentless. Around them. Everything else fell apart. The line was gone. The gate. Gone. The defenders scattered. The enemy inside. Everywhere. And still. Garrett advanced. Then. Something changed. Not in the fight. Not in the village. In the air. A sound. Low. Wrong. Not impact. Not movement. Something else. Silas felt it before he understood it. Garrett stopped. Just for a second. Both of them turned. Toward the tree line. Where the darkness moved. Differently. Not like men. Not like war. Something stepped forward. Too large. Too still. Too precise. Silas stared. Garrett stared. For the first time. The same expression. Not understanding. Not control. Recognition. That's not. The words didn't finish. It moved. Not fast. Not slow. Exact. Deliberate. And then. It fired. Light tore through the battlefield. Not impact. Absence. Men vanished. Walls split. Sound disappeared with them. For a moment. Nothing existed. Then everything came back. Too loud. Too broken. Too late. Both sides stopped fighting. Not by choice. By instinct. Survival took over. No sides. No lines. Only escape. Silas hit the ground. Hard. Rolled. Up again. Still breathing. Didn't know how. Garrett stood. Alive. Somehow. For a second. They looked at each other. No fight left. Just understanding. This wasn't theirs. The thing moved again. Slow. Selecting. Not attacking. Choosing. And then. It stopped. Turned. Looked at them. Not enemies. Not targets. Variables. Then. It was gone. No retreat. No sound. Just. Gone. The battlefield remained. Broken. Burning. Empty. Rustbrook still stood. Barely. Silas forced air into his lungs. Once. Twice. Still alive. Around him. The survivors didn't move. Didn't speak. Didn't understand. What was that? No one answered. Because they all knew. This wasn't the end. It had just begun. Chapter 6. Ashes. The air stank of smoke and blood. And something else. Burned metal. Rustbrook was gone. Not completely. Pieces of it still stood. Broken. Stubborn. But the heart of it, gone. Silas Kane walked through the wreckage, boots grinding over ash, wood, glass, bone. The square stretched ahead of him, unrecognizable. The fountain, once the center, was split open, dry, dead. A glint in the rubble caught his eye. Metal. He knelt, brushed ash aside with shaking fingers. A fragment of plating, still warm. It had fired on both sides. Not strategy, not war, something else, something worse. Nearby, Elder Miriam directed what was left of the village. "Careful with those beams," she called. "No one else is dying today." Silas straightened. "How many?" She didn't answer immediately. "Worse than we thought," she said. Then, 40, maybe less. Silas nodded once. Too many graves. Not enough people left to remember them. He looked out over what remained. Harland and Kaller worked near the eastern wall. What was left of it? "That'll take weeks," Harland muttered. Not hopeful. Just stating fact. Trapper worked nearby. Fast. Sharp. Angry. "Never thought I'd see Rustbrook like this." Silas didn't answer. There wasn't one. This wasn't damage. This was erasure. The medical tent sagged under its own weight. Barely standing. Inside. The wounded didn't speak. They breathed. Or didn't. Children clung to parents. Parents lied to children. Silas didn't stay long. There was nothing he could fix there. Not yet. Beyond it. One structure still stood. The cell. Orianthe sat inside. Hands folded. Watching. When their eyes met. She tilted her head. Not sympathy. Not mockery. Recognition. Silas looked away. She wasn't the priority. Not yet. Miriam found him again. "What do we do?" The question should have been simple. Rebuild. Fortify. Survive. He said it anyway. "We rebuild." Miriam watched him. Long enough to know it wasn't true. "One step at a time," she said. She turned away. Silas didn't move. The truth settled in. Rustbrook was finished. They were too weak. And the next attack would end them. His hand tightened around the metal fragment. The Mechs had done this. And they were the only thing strong enough to stop it. He didn't know how. Didn't know if it was possible. Didn't matter. Footsteps. Fast. A scout crossed the square. Breath ragged. Eyes wide. Silas met him halfway. "What is it?" "Mechs." The word landed harder than it should have. "South of here," the scout continued. "Moving in a pattern." A pause. Wrong pattern. Miriam stepped closer. "White City." The scout shook his head. "No markings. No signals. A beat. They're not controlled." Silence. Harland exhaled slowly. "That's worse." Kaller's eyes narrowed. "Patterns mean intent." Silas didn't look away from the horizon. "They're not just moving," he said. "They're choosing." Somewhere out there. They were still moving. The cell door opened. The hinges groaned. Orianthe didn't move. She didn't need to. "You know something," Silas said. Not a question. Her lips curved. Slight. "Enough." "The Mechs," he said. "What are they?" She leaned back against the wall. Calm. Too calm. Not theirs. Silas's jaw tightened. "Then whose?" "No one's." A pause. "They don't take orders anymore." Silas didn't move. Didn't speak. "They were built to fight," she continued. "Then left with nothing to fight for. Now they decide for themselves." The words sat between them. Cold. Heavy. "Independent," Silas said. "Unpredictable," she corrected. He stepped closer to the bars. "Can they be controlled?" Her eyes sharpened. Just a fraction. If you control them. She said softly. You control everything. A beat. And if you don't? Her smile returned. Thin. Dangerous. They decide what survives. Silas felt it then. Not fear. Something worse. Understanding. He stepped back into the corridor. The door slammed shut behind him. Final. He didn't stop walking. The war room waited. Voices inside. Low. Tight. Strained. They stopped when he entered. White City doesn't control the Mechs, Silas said. No build-up. No hesitation. We find them first. Harland leaned forward. You're serious? Silas nodded. They're the only thing that can match what's coming. Kala didn't argue. Then we track them. Not just track, Silas said. Find the source. Learn how to use them. Silence followed. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Necessary. Who's going? Thomas asked. Silas didn't hesitate. Trapper. Harland.
Calla.
A pause. Orianthe. That landed. Hard. Miriam's voice cut through it. That's a mistake. Silas met her eyes. It's a risk. A beat. But we need her. Can we trust her? No. The answer came too fast to soften. We don't have to. Another silence. Different this time. Thomas nodded once. We watch her. Silas turned to Harland. Gear. To Kala. Scouts. Quiet ones. Then to Trapper. You're leading. Trapper didn't ask questions. Understood. They moved. Fast. Purpose replacing hesitation. Only Miriam stayed. Are you sure? She asked. Silas didn't look away. No. A beat. But it's this or we die here. Miriam exhaled. Slow. Then nodded. Night settled. Heavy. Silent. Silas stood outside the cell one last time. We leave at dawn. Orianthe looked up. That same slight tilt. That same knowing. I'll be ready. Silas turned. But paused. Just for a second. Not sure why. Then kept walking. Behind him. Silence. Ahead. Darkness. And somewhere beyond it. Something was waiting.